Good day, grade 12 learners, and welcome to our Prelim Prep series. And we're looking at theory at this point. So this is going to comprise of 3 videos because for your theory papers, we have a section A, we have a section B, and we have a section C. And it's always been like that. So I'm going to bring out 3 videos dealing with section A, B, and C. Today's video, we are looking at section A. And we're going to look at it from 2022, 2023, and I've got 2 2023 papers and 2024. So you can see, first of all, in 2022, it was worth 25 marks. Question 1 was worth 15 marks, and question 2 was worth 10 marks. So let's go and have a look at that, and then I'm going to run through the answers with you as well. Okay, so here we have a match the column. This is something that comes up often. You can see that we have our EULA, our EMI, ScanDisk. These are typical terms that come up. So let's look at some of these here. Right, 1.1.1, signals from a copper cable line. So that's already telling you something. Interfering with signals from another. So we're talking about signals or signal interference on a copper line. And that's going to match up with what? What do you think? That's going to be, yes, that's B, EMI. What does EMI stand for? Electromagnetic interference. Okay, let's look at 1.1.2. A set of practices designed to improve the positioning of web pages in search results. Can it be any of these? Freeware farming? No. Bandwidth share? No. There we go. SEO, our search engine optimization. Right, next one. The total amount of data that can be carried from one point to another over a communications channel per unit of time. Think about your internet at home. Think about that, right? We will talk about 10 megabits per second, the amount of data that can be communicated or moved from point to point over a communication channel per unit of time. 10 megabits per second. That's referring to what over here? It's referring to bandwidth. That's correct. Okay. 1.1.4, a built-in utility in Windows operating systems. Now already that's telling us that's got to be some sort of utility software. So we want to look through here for some utility software. And what are we going to find? What are we going to find? ScanDisk. There we go. And then the last one, 1.1.5, the fraudulent practice. So already fraudulent practice. We need to look at things over here, intended to direct internet users to a fake website that mimics the appearance of a legitimate one. Now we know it's not these, it can't be crosstalk. No, it's not phishing, it's going to be farming. Okay, lovely. So that's question 1. And that was for 5 marks. Then the next one, as we carry on, we go to some multiple choice over here. And let's see if we can get the answer. Which one of the following is an example of an output device? Which one do you think it's going to be? The correct answer is A screen magnifier. All right, next one. Which of the following processes allows a streamed video to be loaded while a user is watching it? Which of the following processes allows a streamed video to be loaded while another user is watching it? Now, you wouldn't even know what an IRQ is, many of you. Spooling and queuing, that's got to do with our printers. So by process of elimination, that is our buffering. Okay. 1.2.3, which of the following statements is false regarding the if function? Now, we know what an if function is. We know with an if function, we have a criteria, and then it's got to be matched up. You know, something must happen if it matches the criteria. Something must happen if it doesn't. So which of these is going to be here? And look through. What do you think it's going to be? The answer here is C. The hash value error will be returned if not logical tests are true. Okay. Next one, 1.2.4. Which type of network is the internet? I mean, this is a fairly simple one. We know that is going to be B for our global area network. Then the following text message is an example of what? They're telling you that you've won something. They've rewarded you with 350,000 Rand from Omo. Did you enter anything? No. So what are they trying to do? Is it ransomware? Are they holding you ransom, your data ransom for something? No. Are they directing you to a different website? No. What are they trying to do? They're throwing out bait. So they're trying to do some phishing. All right. Next one. Which of the following is an example of a web browser? Come on. Easy, easy. It's not Google. It's not Bing. It's not Yahoo. These are all search engines, so it's got to be a Safari. 1.2.7. This is an example of an operating system feature. Is your keyword. It's a feature of the operating system which is designed to make the computer accessible to blind users. So a feature that helps blind folks better use the computer, make it more accessible for them. Do you think sticky keys is going to help if you're blind? No. Do you think a screen reader could help? Yes. Okay. Voice recognition software to a point, but it's not going to allow you to do everything because even when you give voice commands, maybe it misinterprets it. Maybe you're wanting to, do a letter of some kind and you won't be able to see anything. So the screen reader would be the option to choose. All right, 1.2.8. What is a table attribute? Oh, okay. So already, table attributes, nothing to do with that, nothing to do with that. We know it's A or D already, which sets the space between a cell border and its contents. Between the cell border, like this border over here, and what's inside. That is a cell padding. Right, and then the last two, 1.2.9, which of the following statements is false? Okay, so downloading many movies might cause your connection to be throttled. That is true. Each ISP has an acceptable use policy which specifies how and when throttling occurs. Okay, that's true. Shaping is a technique whereby certain internet services are given preference over others. That is correct. Which then means that throttling occurs as you approach the limit of your monthly cap. No, that is false. So it's D. Last one, in a mail merge, this button temporarily merges your main document and data source so that you can view and test. This button temporarily merges your main document. Remember when we go through the mail merge, it's start mail merge, it's select recipients, that edit recipient list, use existing list, and then we were going to insert our merge fields. And then before we finish and merge, what do? We preview results. All right. So that was it for the 2022 paper for section A. So here is the 2023 paper. Same story, folks. Can you see? Can you see section A, 25 marks? So let's go and have a look at that. Let's see what they gave us. Okay, so again, a match the column. Once again, a match the column. Let's go through these. Electric cable used in networking with strands woven together to minimize electromagnetic interference. Now look at this. HDMI, we know that's our audio and video cable. Our BIOS, those are instructions at the beginning when a PC switches on, like in the back. Your USB ports, your bring your own device, your UTP cables, your unshielded twisted pair, gigabits per second, your DVIs, another video port, switch, and your gigahertz. Okay, so this should be fairly simple. So 1.1.1, electrical cable, which is the only one that we went through here that's a cable, our unshielded twisted pair. Boom. 1.1.2, job-related use of personal devices when at work. Bring your own device. Right. Multimedia standard that allows transmission of audio and video already. Do you see? Just by going through this, I already answered that. So that is A. Then connects multiple devices to a network. We know that is a, what is it? A switch. Okay, beautiful. And then the last one, a unit of measurement for processor speed. Come on, guys. Basics. Our gigahertz. Right, let's move to the next one. So remember, we won't have a true and false. I think I've said this a few times already. You can see it's just match the column and then our multiple choice. So, which of the following is not a hardware device designed to assist people with disabilities? So let's first see now, which one of these is hardware? Which one? What is software? That's the first thing you need to work out. So of these, is a screen reader, as we saw in the previous paper. Is that software? Yes, it is. Okay. Is it hardware? No. So they're asking you which one of the following is not a hardware device. It's going to be B, our screen reader. Then 1.2.2, they mention now a single-purpose computer system in which the operating system is contained in the system firmware. What is that known as? Is it standalone? What was a standalone system? What was a standalone? Remember that? What was an offline system? What do we mean by a cloud system working on the internet? When something is, and just look at the question, a single-purpose computer system in which the operating system is contained in the system firmware. In other words, it is built in. In other words, it is embedded. 1.2.3. Which one of the following descriptions best describes a computer Trojan? Now, when you think Trojan, you always think of the Trojan horse. Makes itself look like a decent program, a useful program, but that actually has some maliciousness to it. So, it's a program that copies itself. No, that's a worm. Malicious program that gives someone administrative access to the computer. No. It's a form of malware that people install because it claims to be a useful application. There we go. See, I don't even have to go further. 1.2.4, using someone else's personal information when creating accounts is a form of what? You are using somebody else's personal info. Are you stealing data? No. Are you stealing bandwidth? No. Are you stealing software? No. You are using the person's identity. So that is identity theft, people. Okay? If you didn't know. Right. Which of the following is not associated with green computing? So, I mean, here you can just use common sense. Reusing ink cartridges, using Energy Star compatible hardware. That means it's like those energy ratings that you find on appliances these days. Replacing computer equipment every 3 years. That is not in line with green computing because they would rather say that you should upgrade or, fix up the machines, give them maybe a bit more RAM, things like that, but not replacing them. Okay. 1.2.6, the process of integrating multiple technologies into a single device. We know this term from grade 10. That is convergence. There we go. B, convergence. Then CTS is an example of what? CTS is an example of what? Is it medical imaging? Is it RSI? Remember what RSI is? Repetitive strain injury. And by the way, what does the CTS stand for? Because that'll help us with the options here. It is carpal tunnel syndrome. Now, how do you get that? From doing the same activity over and over and thereby picking up an injury. What is RSI? Repetitive strain injury. You're picking up an injury through the repeated action that you are performing. So there they mentioned to us carpal tunnel syndrome. And you can see there it is related to RSI. Let's go. Almost done. Identify the list which correctly arranges the following capacities from smallest to largest. So remember, it's megs. Already when I look down here, megabytes needs to be the first one. Then gigs. Then terabytes. But then why do they give me this? Is this bigger than 1.5 terabytes? Yes, it is. How do I know that? Because for every 1024 gigs, it's 1 terabyte. How many gigs do we have here? 2000 gigs, which means this is just over 2 terabytes. Okay. Then the last two, a function used in MS Access to calculate the arithmetic mean or the average of the values in a field. Now, please remember, if we are using a field, we want those square brackets. Secondly, if we're using the formula average in Access, it's no longer going to be the full word. It's only going to be the 3 letters. So just because I know that, it already gives me that answer and I know which one to choose. Okay, so that is D. And then the last one, a computer language used to add dynamic elements to web pages. What is that? Is it HTML? No, because that's just what we use to create those web pages. Chrome? No, that's a web browser. This is our protocol. So by process of elimination, we have a computer language called JavaScript, and that's used to add dynamic elements to web pages. All right, so that was the one paper in 2023. Right, and then our last paper comes from 2024. And here you can see same setup. So let's jump into this one. Now, this one starts with multiple choice. So let's have a look at this. Which of the following is not a type of storage device? Which of these is not a storage device? That is RAM. What does the term booting refer to? This is a question that does come up often, and I hope you're starting to pick up the trends between the 3 papers. What does the term booting refer to? Simple. Starting up the computer system. Then 1.3, which of the following is a characteristic of a fiber optic cable? So what does a fiber optic cable do? Transmits data via light, very fast. So of these, what's the option going to be? What's our answer going to be? Low security? No. Electromagnetic interference? No. Slow data? No. We just said that. So it's going to be high bandwidth capacity. Next one. What does the acronym URL stand for? Come on, we know this. We know this. That's the Uniform Resource Locator. Then, what is the purpose of a primary key in a database? Can you see in all 3 of these papers, you have some practical questions coming through in the theory paper, right? And that is to do what? It is to uniquely identify each record. Then we have the term digital divide, and you needed to select the correct answer there. Have a look at that. Which of them is correct? It's going to be B. The gap between those who have access to modern information and communication technology and those who do not, highlighting the disparities, in digital adoption. Then 1.7, what is the main purpose of a firewall in network security? 2, prevent unauthorized access. Okay. 1.8, which of the following best describes open source software? Which one? That's going to be software that's available for free and can be modified and shared. I usually tell the kids it's free to use, free to download, free to distribute, and free to modify as well. 1.9, which of the following is not a benefit of using spreadsheets? Can you perform complex calculations? Yes. Can you analyze data with charts and graphs? Yes. Can you organize the data into rows and columns? Yes. So by process of elimination, it is B, storing large amounts of text data efficiently. And then the last one for this section is cloud computing could be considered as what? Which of these? Have a read through quickly. And it is C, using a network of remote servers hosted on the internet to store, manage, and process data rather than relying on local servers or personal devices. Okay. Last section, question 2 here, and that was, and this is typical of what you will find. I think we had this in June as well. So you want to circle the correct word. So they give you a statement, an area for the temporary storage of data for quick access is what? The recycle bin or cache? An area for temporary storage. Is the recycle bin storage? No. No. Okay? And even if you could store things in the recycle bin, is it allowing you to then, as a result, access the data quickly? No. Okay? So that's our cache. Then, spoofing or phishing. Which one of the two is a fraudulent practice where an attacker impersonates another device on a network to steal data, spread malware, or bypass access controls? Which one is it going to be? Is it going to be phishing? No. It's going to be spoofing. Next one, disk defragmentation or disk cleanup. Which one of the two is the process of gathering together files that have been scattered across a hard drive? We are not cleaning up, people. We are defragging. Then, software designed to disrupt, damage, or gain unauthorized access to a computer system is classified as what? It's classified as malware. And when we break up that term, we're talking about malicious software or harmful programs. And then which one of the two here, which one of these two connections uses pulses of, is your keyword, light to transfer data? And we know that is fiber. Okay, so folks, there you go. I think that was, oh, there's more. All right, let's jump into this one and then we done. Sorry, I didn't scroll down. So, do you see match the column? Now, based on everything I've shared with you so far, do you think you're going to get a section on multiple choice? Yes. Are there going to be theory and prac questions? Yes. Are you going to get a match the column? Yes. Are you going to get the section where you had to choose the correct term? That could come in. They could have that and then just a few of these. So, yeah, either way. We want to be prepared for everything. Okay, let's look at these. A software extension that adds extra features to a primary program. That immediately jumps out at me. Immediately jumps out at me. The primary component. Okay, so in this case, what they want me now to do is to actually take column A and match the term up here, or the acronym, with the explanation. So the first one we have is RAM. And to look through this, here we can see this is physical hardware inside a computer that temporarily stores data. What about our spreadsheet? Spreadsheet is an application used for organizing, analyzing, and storing data in tabular form. Then AR. What is AR? That's augmented reality, a technology that overlays digital information such as images or 3D models onto the real world. So it overlays these images onto the real world. That is augmented reality. Right. We know what our operating system is, our CPU. Let's go to 2.2.6, add-on. And that's A over here that says it's a software extension that adds extra features. Folks, add-on adds extra features to a primary program. That's why it's known as an add-on. Then encryption, and for that, to go down, it's a method of protecting information by transforming it into an unreadable format. That's what we mean by encryption. VR, okay, now we did AR. What's VR then? That's virtual reality. And over here we can see immersive technology that creates a simulated environment. So the whole environment is a simulation, allowing users to interact with within a completely artificial world through devices like specialized headsets. And then our last two is bandwidth. So 2.2.9, and let's see, what is that one going to be? How far do we have to go down? Not much further. The maximum rate of data transfer across a connection. Okay, that is our bandwidth. Can you see this has come up in a previous paper? Okay, and then we've got wearables. That's wearable technology or wearable computing technology. And that is going to be devices that are worn on the body, wearables, often as accessories or clothing designed to collect and analyze data. Okay, so grade 12s, that is the 2022, 2023 and 2024 prelim papers for section A. I hope you can see some of the trends that are coming through, some of the questions that come up in different forms as well, and what you can expect from section A in this year 2025's prelim exams. I'll see you in section B's video.